Think of like action movie stars like Vin Diesel, Arnold Schwarzenegger, big, strong, saving the day.
Yeah, like logically, I just am like, I know like, masculine is whatever you want to be. But like my emotional response is very like, I think of toxic masculinity. And so when I think of someone masculine, I always think of someone very aggressive, um, reluctant to show any emotion other than anger, things like that.
Decisive. They're sure of themselves.
You need to be able to like handle shit, like solve problems. You know what I mean? You need to be able to like build a deck when you need to, or like chop down that random tree. You know?
Think of somebody who is extremely built, constantly trying to show off his ego, a bit aggressive.
Being kind of a mentor towards younger men, has a strong sense of themselves, they're secure within themselves, and they look after people.
Or let's say that you are expressing like you're sad, you don't feel good. They're like, keep it in. It's just things that they don't really want you to express. Because you're a man, you're supposed to always look well built, uptight.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to go like get a manicure if you feel like it, because you know what I mean.
Have you ever
Like-
wanted to,
Kind of.
but you just felt like you couldn't?
Yeah.
Everyone cries when you're just trying to show it, I guess. And there are places where it's acceptable to cry, like funerals and weddings and that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, weddings it's iffy. I still got some shit for crying at my sister's wedding, but no, I think every guy's experienced that. It mostly comes from your friends, like your parents aren't the ones telling you to not cry. It's the 5th grade kid, you know what I mean?
I never learned that you're not supposed to be that emotional, or you're supposed to be like bottle it up. So no, I never associated emotions with being feminine. Just being in touch with yourself.
I think it definitely affects, like, I don't identify like fully as male, but like I feel a need to present more masculinely, because if I don't, then I'll be female, like, because it's hard. I'm not seen as like being in between. I'm either seen as male or female. I feel like anything like video games and stuff always have the main character is like manly man who's
Yeah.
like jumping across buildings and like beating people up and killing people and stuff.
Games like Call of Duty, games of course associated with weaponry, I see them creating a more accepting gun culture. Of course, with the mass shootings that have been happening, we see more people being accepting towards those things instead of demanding reform.
Sure. Men always want to be better than other men. You know what I mean? We're all still animals at the end of the day, so people have to compete for, I don't know, masculine rights. That's why guys get drunk and get in fights at bars all the time. It's just competing to see who's more manly, really.
I think it's because it's kind of like a first response for masculinity. Like I know my father, I haven't seen him be violent with my mother, but he's like very emotionally violent, and that's like his go-to response. Like he doesn't, because he's taught that like showing his emotions is not okay. Like he doesn't talk about things.
It'd be mostly military on military. There'd be higher ranking officers who would abuse their position of power and kind of force their female subordinates to do things that they didn't want to do under the threat of screwing up their career.
Yes, because a lot of the time, I feel that this also arises from misogyny, and a lot of the time, toxic masculinity has made men feel as if people who are homosexual represent that type of femininity that they're against.
Slavic culture, the gender roles are extremely binary. There's no homosexuality. It's extremely repressed. They actually believe it's a kind of a mental illness type of thing.
You picture gay people as not having masculine features, I think.
Straight men are supposed to be masculine, and then like gay men are supposed to be like feminine and stuff. And so if you perpetuate that stereotype while also telling people that masculine is good and feminine is bad, like of course you're gonna also think that gay people are bad and women are bad, and like everyone who isn't straight dude like lifting weights.
Yeah.
Females are also feminine, but they also have a strength about them. They definitely have some masculine traits, but that's because of the environment. We're talking about a culture where people don't smile at each other.
Honestly, I just look at it as interests. I know that my parents or other people I know, they'll look at some women and call them tomboys. For me, it's just their plain interests. They just don't like the same things as they were socialized to do.
So you don't see it as masculine though?
No.